I just got back from Heroes Con 2025 in North Carolina, and I brought over 80 books to submit to CGC. We haven't submitted to CGC in over 3 years, so I want to talk to you about that a little bit. We're going to get to some business real quick. We have live claim sales. If you want to see us live every week, Monday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific, we do a live claim sale on Instagram, sometimes on Thursdays for the summer. So check us out. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. We sell books all kinds of other places.
We do. We also have a Buy It Now feature over on Instagram. We make posts with books for sale almost every single week. There's some stuff up there right now if you want to check it out. We also have some auctions live over on Shortbox. We have our Fantastic Four #1 available for auction right now if you want to check that out.
Just got a slab.
It's linked down below. We'll talk about the grade in a second. And then finally, we're on eBay. We post on eBay every week. Definitely follow us over on eBay if you aren't already so that you can get notified when we post new books. And follow us on Instagram because we're almost at 10,000 followers over there.
Yeah, so we feature bronze and copper books in high grade. So if you like that kind of stuff, make sure to follow us on eBay for that kind of stuff. We're going to have thousands of books up there eventually. So you want to see what we're putting up every week. Put them up a couple times a week. Also, we buy collections, guys. If you're thinking at all about selling your books, no matter how big or small, we buy collections, no matter how much you think it's worth. Think about us. Look in the description for how to contact us. We look forward to hearing from you. And make sure to comment on this video as we go along what you think about things. So anyway, I went to Heroes Con. Great experience. I'm going to throw some pictures in here from different people. I didn't take a lot. For someone who's on YouTube, I bring stuff every time and never use it. I really don't dig doing this. I enjoy the fact that we can put content out there, but when it comes to living my life day to day, I don't feel like a creator. I want to do it. In a family gathering, I'll be the last one to take a picture. I'm just not that guy.
He's in the moment.
Rachel's better than I am. That's why.
I'm still not that great at it.
This is my daughter, if you didn't know that. Anyway, we do content for YouTube, and we have for years, so we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, please subscribe to the channel. I promise we'll be posting. We'll be posting someday.
We're not going to annoy you, that's for sure.
We're not going to stop posting.
Sometimes once every 2 weeks, sometimes every week. You never know.
You just want that notification bell because you just never know when we're going to post a video.
So I didn't stop slabbing books with CGC, getting them professionally graded because I was upset with them or anything else. Times are changing for comic collecting, and I started off selling comics thinking I was only going to sell slab comics, but ended up selling almost primarily raw books. My original tension about selling raw books, it almost seems adversarial that people want to bicker about a grade or not be satisfied. So I was selling a lot on eBay at the time. I made a decision a long time ago that we're just going to be really strict graders. I don't want to deal with that. It gave me anxiety thinking about it. So over the course of time, that's what we focused on, is how strict can we get with our grading. Being very strict doesn't necessarily mean being very accurate. Sometimes we undergrade, and I think our customers dig that. But we're not always right. And I would like you to just challenge yourself to think, if you've graded a lot of comic books, how often your grade matches either CGC or another really proficient comic grader. What percentage would you think is an excellent grader?
Of being
correct?
89%.
Wow. So
I don't know.
You think nine out of 10 times you should be right.
There's a lot of other factors involved.
A lot of factors.
What era are we talking about? Because modern, 10 out of 10. I feel really good about modern.
I agree with that.
Silver Age?
I don't know about 10 out of 10 on anything.
7 out of 10.
I agree. Me and my brother had a long conversation about this years ago. My brother's a lifelong collector, and he's a stickler for grade. And he said 75% is very strong. He had graded someone's Golden Age collection, and he got 75% right through the CGC process. And he was very proud of that, and I would be too. So
yeah, Golden Age is hard.
Yeah, if you think that grading should be like a zero-sum game, it really isn't. Even when CGC grades something, I can send them the exact same book and they'll give me a different grade. It
just I have
depends
feelings about some of the things.
And I want you to share those feelings. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of the books that we did a video, our last video. We showed you what we're going to send in. I didn't send anything. I packed a box. Rachel, this was horrible. I haven't even talked to you about this.
I'm scared.
So I had this little cart, which I didn't bring back, just so you know.
Oh.
I left the cart in my room. I hated that cart by the end of this, right?
I
had
like
a little cart,
dolly.
and I had a box. I had 2 bags and a cart and a backpack. Had a bunch of comics
A
and all
short
these.
box of books, by the way.
Short box of just
Organized
jam-packed.
CGC books
Yeah,
that I put together.
they were already orders that we had submitted. I already knew what the bill was going to be. It was astronomical. You pay a lot extra, by the way, if you drop comic books off at a show.
For same day
And even though
slabbing or whatever.
yeah, same day or same weekend. And I even have a discount, a 20% discount. I still paid $4,000 in slabbing fees. That's a lot of money. I don't care who you are, that hurts your feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was carrying this and I found it to be incredibly awkward. Plus, I felt like a Secret Service guy. Like I had this box I couldn't let out of my sight. You know what I mean?
Expensive box of books.
There was tens of thousands of dollars worth of books in this one box. So schlepping and lugging and walking through airports, it wasn't fun.
Oh, no.
And I found that this cart that I had, I couldn't carry it any way comfortably. So
No,
it kept
it's
falling
awkward.
and sliding. And then when I get the books on it, I had 2 bags. It was not fun. So if you're looking to have fun, don't do what I did. And I decided on the way home, I don't need you anymore because I got all the slabs. I put all the slabs in my suitcase. The ones I brought home. The rest I sent to auction. I sent over 40 books to auction. And I carried the rest home. So it was an easier trip home, but it was an educational experience. You know, I'm old and I learned so much, guys, all the time. And it's not necessarily fun, but I assume it's important. Anyway,
Oh my
we're going to
God.
talk about some of the grades we got. I stood in line for 2.5 hours. I got in, I had an early pass, so I got in 1 hour early to the show, which wasn't bad. The line just was just long.
Yeah.
And I saw one guy in line, he had 6 short boxes he was submitting.
I wonder how much that cost. Good Lord.
I just imagine how long it took to check him in. But before I end that, the guys at CGC, and I want to shout out to Joe and some other people that were there, were fantastic. The service was fantastic. I really appreciate how they do what they do. And it's not an easy job to get all this done, but they got it done. And I felt like they did a pretty good job grading. Rachel may not, but I think she's more emotional than I am. So the light just went off. We're keeping it. Keeping it just the way it is. Anyway, so
All right.
let's get into this.
Yeah, so I'm going to show the book, but I'm not going to show the grade yet. So our first book is Betty and Me #1, which was a cracked 3.0 from CBCS.
Yep.
That we did a pressing video on. I'll link it above.
I got a pretty good deal on that book, and I bought it at auction. And I wasn't planning on cracking it, but when I got it, there were so many visible defects I knew I could repair through cleaning and pressing, which I do myself, that I was compelled.
Now, we got in like an argument after the pressing of the book about what we thought the grade was.
Disagreement, I wouldn't say we are.
Well, yeah, we just were like not on the same page.
Well, you and I both settled on 4.0.
Yeah, we both said 4.0, and we got it back, and
Well, my brother said 4.5.
he did.
Because, I mean, we are
But
intense.
he didn't see it in person, so
He
just saw
didn't.
pictures.
We sent him pictures, but we're intense about grading.
Yeah.
If you don't know that about us. So.
Anyway, so we said 4.0. It got a 4.0. We were
Yep.
right on the money.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great.
It's a
I mean,
grade bump. That's great.
the book needed improving for wherever its Forever Home's going to be. It's not wrinkled anymore. It doesn't look half as bad as it did. It was so dirty. For the amount of work, I worked on that book about 45 minutes.
You did.
Did a video on pressing it, so make sure to check that out.
Yeah, please watch that.
I did a whole video on me.
It's a really good video.
Taking it out, pressing it, and it improved vastly. But it's a really nice, very good now. So
yeah, it looks great. The next book's his first issue special, number 11. We thought it was a 9.8.
Yeah, and this was in a box for a long time, and it was part of the Monterey collection. Steve Johnson was a collector. I've talked about him a lot on my channel. I bought it from someone who bought it from him, and we're all friends. We've known each other for decades, and it has been in a box for 2 years or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought it was a 9.8. Looked fantastic.
It got a 9.6, and the grader's note said crease right top of back cover. So I'm thinking maybe something happened because it was a 9.8.
Yeah, I couldn't
Something
find.
happened. It maybe needed another press or something, but
Yeah, for the era that it is, the book was absolutely pristine. Bone white pages just look perfect. But, you know, you're going to miss things or things happen along the way.
Yeah.
Something happened on the way to the forum type thing. She has no idea what I'm talking about. Next book.
the next book is Fantastic Four #1.
Yeah. I've had this book for years.
Yes, we've been wanting to get it slabbed for a long time.
I knew that I always thought it was between a 1.8 and a 2.0.
Yeah, it had a corner missing in the back. One of the staples was... No, both the staples were attached.
One staple was attached, one was popped. and it was missing part of the back cover.
Yeah, so we said 1820.
Yeah.
It got 18.
That's
18
fine.
off-white pages. This is the one that's currently available on Shortboxed and on auction. It ends, I think, on July 6th. So
Yeah.
take a look at it.
Yeah.
I think
Glad
that's
to get
pretty
that
good for
slab.
18.
I was fine.
Next up is The Hobbit #1. We thought this was a 9.8.
And I got this from a collection in England. That's from the collection I bought in
Yeah.
England.
It was really nice.
And the whole set looked fantastic. And this one looked pristine. I don't press and clean books like that. What'd it get?
It got a 9.8.
Yeah, super happy with that. That's going to be for sale. I think, do we have that for sale now?
It's not available for sale now, but it will be on our Instagram by now at some point.
And I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so I want to read. I have another set of these that are really nice. I'm going to read to my grandson, my oldest grandson. He's not quite ready for it yet. Too many words on the page. When I opened it up, he's like, I'm out, Papa, I'm out. Okay, next book.
All right, next one is Adventure Comics 312. We thought that this was an 8.0.
I've had this book for years. And the funny thing about it is I put it up for sale a couple of times for $600.
At least 3 times.
Yep, as AO. I had a really good customer of ours say, that's way too much for that book. And I'm like, well, I know they're hard to find in grade. And at one point, I think I lowered it. I lowered the price
like
for it.
500 or
not,
something.
Not to the wide world, maybe to 40 or 50 people.
To our Instagram claim sale.
Nobody jumped on it. So I submitted it. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so we thought it was an 8.0. And it got a 9.2 off white pages.
CGC disagreed with us. This is when I think our customers love us the most, is when we undergrade. So that's part of being strict, is that there's nuance to grading. And there might be things like bindery tears or how much you really take off for color breaking spine ticks, et cetera, et cetera. Because it's all based on length. It's in their grading guide. I was super happy to get a 9.2 on this. I actually brought it to a dealer. Sold it for cash, $1,300.
And
on the spot.
The grader's notes just said spine stress lines on the cover and wear on all corners. I think we knock off for corner.
We're
corners
aggressive.
more.
We're aggressive on corners.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that our misses are about corners too. So it's kind of an interesting thing.
You miss some, you go in.
Because you can get a 9.4 with a soft corner. I've even seen some 9.6s that I don't agree with that have soft corners or very, very small.
9.6 with a spine tick, like a long one, which
Yeah.
surprises me sometimes. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's part of that nuance, that if the book is otherwise pristine, can it get bumped up? And anyway, that was a great win. And I don't have that book, so don't ask for it.
The next one's Fantastic 486, Sick Doctor Doom cover. We thought it was a 9.6 or a 9.8.
No, I didn't think it was a 9.8 ever. I had a customer, I had put it up as a 9.6, and the customer asked me if I thought I could get a 9.8, and I said, I don't think so.
I mean, we're pretty serious about 9.6s.
Yeah, I said I would not propose anyone get this.
I thought that we thought it was like a tweener, where it's like we call it a tweener when we're not sure if it could get a higher grade because of a defect that it had.
Yeah, what'd it get?
It got a 9.4.
I'm not dissatisfied with that. I think it's a beautiful book, and buy the book and not the grade, guys. This book looks fantastic.
Yeah, because the grader's notes just says scuff on the left center of the front cover.
Yeah, I don't know how we missed a
9.4?
scuff. Yeah.
It must be a big scuff. I have to look at it again.
Interesting.
I'll
Okay.
zoom in on the picture, but I don't think you can tell in the picture. All right, this next one. Wolverine #1.
Yeah, we had a Wolverine number one that we went over with a fine tooth comb. Felt it was a 9.8, possible 9.9 candidate.
It was
We sent it in,
perfect.
and I got it, and it got a
9.2.
So
Because smudge center of back cover.
I had a professional grader with me who used to work at CGC, works for another comic company now. As I was doing this box, I was outside, kind of going through the books I just picked up. And I mean, he examined this book. I examined this book. We're like, we cannot find a defect. I brought it back to CGC, and the guy brought it. He had really good lights, by the way. He was looking at it. He could not find a defect. I left it with CGC. And then I got the grader's notes. I didn't get the grader's notes at the show. I had to wait till I got home.
Which is fair, because it takes
And the
forever.
grader's notes said smudge. So
9.2 though? We got a 9.6 with a fingerprint.
a visible color breaking fingerprint.
This book, actually.
I'm not that hot about it personally. Rachel gets very.
Well,
I
it's
love
just
it. She
really
gets very
frustrating when it's like 3 people that are graders looked at it and didn't see a problem, but that one CGC grader saw a smudge and gave it a 9
Well, the
too.
back of that cover is a little bit confusing because it's black and white and split right down the middle, and maybe the smudge was on the white part. I don't know. We didn't see it, but
Yeah.
I'm
upset about it.
I don't ever expect 9.9s, and I really thought this
We
would
were
get a
hoping
9.9.
for a 9.9 because it wouldn't that be cool? But
Massive fail.
9.2.
Massive fail. Okay, next book.
All right, next up is Slow Death #2, first print. And we thought it was a 9.8. We bought it from Last Gasp at San Diego Comic Con.
Got it right out of a box, not bagged and boarded. I mean, just sitting there.
Pristine.
And I picked the book up and looked at it, showed it to the person behind the booth, who was an older guy. I said, is this a replica? And he said,
it looks so good.
He said, no. There was other books in there. So I started to go through it, and one of the first things I noticed, I opened the cover and I saw that the covers started to kind of suck the ink. There's something that happens in Golden Age books where you'll see the ad space on the front cover, and there'll be like this discoloration that just comes from being closed for decades. When I saw that, I'm like, no, this book's old. First print, hard to find first prints of that.
Yeah.
You can tell by the 50-cent insignia if it's blue or if it's green. Did not press, did not clean because it did need improving.
We thought it was a 9.8 going in.
I thought this could get a 9.9.
It got a 9.8, which is great.
It's only one of 2 copies of this book.
Very low census, and we did sell it already. So
yeah, so I put a picture up, and someone hit me up about it, and we negotiated a deal. So that one's no longer available. I bought more than one. I gave Rachel a copy, and when I got home, she goes, "Hey, Dad, I think I'm going to send mine in to slap it."
Get mine pressed and submitted.
All right.
The next book is Amazing Adventures, Volume 2, Number 1. We thought it was a 9.8. We'd held on to it for a long time.
Yeah, I could not find anything wrong with that book. Rachel could not find. What did it get?
It got a 9.6 for spine stress lines.
I think I needed to press it.
It probably needed a quick tack iron or something on the spine.
Yeah, it sounds like a fixable thing because...
You should have brought a tack iron with you to the con.
Yeah, I personally, it's better to press a book after you tack iron.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's people out there that will have the small irons, and even sometimes the head's like that big on them, and you can get them at like craft stores. I get the kind that's for tailors that has a head like that big. But I think people think if you get them out, they stay out. That's not the case. I would say it's 50-50. They revert a lot. That's why it's better to have some humidity and some pressure after a tack iron to kind of solidify the process. Anyway.
Next one is Adventure Comics 344. We thought it was a 9.4.
Yeah.
We felt pretty confident about that 9.4.
This is an expensive book. It is a early Legion of Superheroes and Superboy. Like I said, very expensive. I put it up for sale, raw.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to give that away. I think I even priced it at $500 raw. And sometimes what I find is there becomes a lot of sensitivity to price on raw books, and I get that. So I decided I'm not going to lower the price. Sometimes I'll just lower the price and move the book. You got it. If you sell books for a living, you got to sell books.
You know what that's like.
I'm not here to show you books. I'm here to sell them, right? I sent it in. I'm like, I know this is a 9.4 at least. And what did it get?
It got 9.4 off-white pages. It says spine stress and wear on all corners, which I don't think you can fix with a press anyway. The corners were kind of soft, which is why we gave it a 9.4. And it looks great.
Yeah, they weren't soft in a way that makes it a 9.0. When you see this book,
yeah, there's a picture up right now.
It's beautiful.
It looks great.
So I'm super happy to have this. I sent this to auction, by the way.
Yes,
I do not have that available.
All the ones that we do have available will either be on Instagram Buy It Now or they'll be on eBay. So
yeah, and we haven't put all of them up yet, so give us a minute.
Give us a minute. The next two are Epitaphs from the Abyss, number 1. We had 2 cover variants. We had cover Q, which was the limited to 300 black and white. Like, looks like it has foxing. And then the cover I, which is the 1 in 100.
Yep.
We both thought that they were 9.8, so we had 2 of the 1 in 100s.
And they
all came back 9.8.
Yeah.
They look great.
Yeah, so happy with that. The cool books, the first EC title in decades. So
The 1 in 100 is a really cool variant too.
it is. Well, I also like the other one where the girl's shedding her skin.
They're both pretty great.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm a horror guy.
Most of the other ones, I think. So next one is Strange Adventures 201. We actually submitted 2 of these with the green cover.
Yeah, I had a lot of copies I had been picking up over the years.
Yeah, we thought this one was a 9.0. Do you have anything else to say about it?
No.
Cool. Well, I got an 8.5, so we were pretty close.
It just happens, man.
It says multiple staple tears, and the cover which is interesting. Spine stress lines, cover crease, left bottom, back cover. So there must have been a crease that I missed or something, because that wouldn't get an 9.0.
At this point in our little episode, I'd like to tell you, if you buy slabs, always look at the grader's notes. You may not do that. You may only buy moderns and not concern yourself with that. But if you're buying vintage comic books, it's good to know what's inside that case. They used to put things like pop staple, other things that you'd really want to know if you took it out. So always read the grader notes. And that's what Rachel's reading grader notes directly from the CGC website.
Yeah, I just copied it.
They do offer them. And nowadays, they put a barcode on the back and you can scan it, get a picture of the book, and get the grader's notes. They used to charge for that. So anyway, thought I'd share that with you. Let's move on.
And all these pictures I'm showing are directly from CGC. From the ones that they scan.
Professional scans. Boy,
Yeah.
they do a good job.
They do.
We had a professional scanner, did great till it broke.
It broke twice. This is the second time it broke. First time it was in warranty.
It cost over $500. It cost me like $750 landed. I'm not buying another one right now. So one day we'll buy another.
So our pictures might just be from CGC.
That's
all right. The next book was Commanding #1. I think this is the one you got from the multi-pack.
I got this at Heroes Con last year from a guy called the Judge. He has a booth there every year, and he's a judge full-time that sells comic books. Love that guy. It was in a multi-pack. Got a pretty good deal on the multi-pack.
We did an unboxing of the multi-pack. I don't remember what video it was, though, but...
Yeah, a long time ago. It was in the middle of the Commandy. And when I pulled it out, I love the quality of the book. White pages, really solid book. You can tell just had not been handled a lot. And I felt like it was a 9.8. I'd actually put it up for sale raw. And no one was interested in the price I had on it. But
almost all of these books we had offered raw.
Yeah, I'd offer almost every single one of these raw.
But anyway, we thought it was a 9.8, and it got 9.8.
Yeah.
So good job.
Super happy with that book. They're not incredibly common in 9.8. It's not like they're rare, but
it's what you want.
If that's what you want, is an early 70s Kirby book in 9.8. We have one.
There it is. All right, next up is Batman $3.99. Really sick, shrunken head cover. We had tried to sell this raw a couple times. 9.8 is what we thought it was, near mint.
Yep. And so I just decided, rather than cut the price and do something stupid like $20 or something, I sent it in and
it got a 9.8.
Yeah.
Woohoo! We love stories like that. The next one is Ozark Ike, number B11, which is the first issue in the run. I was convinced it was a pedigree.
Good girl cover, 50s book.
It's really cool, and it's old.
It was a little dirty, but it was like this. It was such a solid book. It didn't have any color breaks on it that were noticeable to the naked eye. It was just a really pretty book.
Really high grade. I thought it was 9.4. You thought it was 9.2. And it got a 9.2. White pages.
Yeah, I did clean and press that. I sent it to my friend Richard from Bedrock Comics because they had the grease pencil stuff that I thought matched, and he goes, "It's not."
He didn't know.
She,
he was like, "I don't know," and I was like, "I'm convinced."
Rachel discovered that.
I was convinced.
She does deep dive sometimes and really gets some great information for us. But yeah, he said that's not from that pedigree.
He was like, probably not.
He said it was the wrong book in the wrong era for the pedigree we were looking for, which was a pedigree I wasn't familiar with. Anyway.
River City is what I thought it was. Anyway, it got a 9.2, white pages. It's still very high grade.
That'll be in a Comic Link auction.
Yeah, it'll be auctioned off. Yep.
Pretty book. I mean, there are people who like those, and that's a high grade copy.
And it's the first issue, which is cool.
Yeah.
Next up is House of Mystery 217.
So I paid a lot for this book as a 9.4 and pressed it and hoping to get the grade bump. I wasn't going to. I knew the guy who I got it from, and he said he'd never been pressed. So when I got it out, it had a lid on the inside bottom right left of the cover. It had a little crease there. I didn't see through the case.
Yeah.
I had to press it 3 or 4 times. I got it out.
We were really hoping to get a 9.6 or 9.8.
It was a 9.4 white pages. What did it come back as?
It came back 9.6 white pages.
Second time this has happened to me that they have downgraded the page quality.
It almost makes me think that maybe their cases aren't protecting the pages.
I have one better for you. I think that you can get white or off-white. They're almost interchangeable because some of the pages in the book will be white, some of them won't be. And they might count the pages, see if there's more white than not. I don't know. To get bone white is rare. We have some books from the early 70s that, I mean, are like, they look fake. They're so white.
Yeah.
They're not fake. It just depends on conditions, you know. Depends
and
on
also,
storage.
it said that there was foxing on the top back cover, which I don't remember seeing.
Yeah, there's people who remove that. I don't do the wet business.
But that's why they deemed it a 9.6, which tells me, like, If that wasn't there, it'd be a 9.8.
It could be, I guess.
I'm confused about that. But
So
anyway,
that's still a killer book in 9.6. There are not a lot of those in the census, guys.
very low
so.
census. And it's Wrightson.
Yep.
Hooray.
Old burn.
Old burn. Next up was Avengers 99. And we thought that this was a 9.4.
It was a tweener. It had like a long spine tick on it, but I was kind of curious. I've seen some stuff coming from the 80s books that I'm like, are they lowering their standards? They're not. Not in the 70s because they got a 9.2, and that's okay. Probably wouldn't have slabbed it 9.2, but sometimes I just send books in to test it, and this kind of confirmed that test. It is such a nice book. Once again, buy the book, not the grade. If you saw this book in hand, you'd be like, that is such a nice copy.
So yeah, it got a 9.2.
Barry Windsor Smith, I mean, those issues right around the 100, killer storyline, incredible art, just great Avengers.
And the only note says spine stress lines, which is annoying.
I knew that.
There's 9.6s that say spine stress lines and 9.4s that say spine stress lines. I don't really understand the difference, but
Size and depth. Yeah, size and depth.
it's frustrating. Fantasy Quarterly #1, first appearance of ElfQuest. We thought it was a 9.4.
Total newsprint, no gloss,
No
and
staples.
no staples. It was glued together. Found that out. By the way, this was a cracked. No, it wasn't cracked.
Oh no, we
It
got
was
that raw. Yeah, we got
was
that
raw.
one raw. We had a 9.0 a long time ago that we sold.
They're kind of hard. It had a bit of a crease on the top of the right cover. I wasn't sure how they were going to grade it.
I was pretty confident it was a 9.4, but I didn't know if they'd grade it differently because of the paper. Anyway, it got a 9.4.
There you go.
Spine stress lines, back cover. Give them the spine stress lines. Next was Occult Files of Dr. Spectre #1. We thought this was a 9.4, first issue. I was pretty confident in 9.4.
9.4. We could not see a 9.6 there. It was a
No.
9.4, and what did they give it?
They gave it a 9.4.
Howdy.
Hooray!
Boy, howdy.
Last book on my list, and we have some honorable mentions, is Hanna-Barbera's Super TV Heroes #1. We thought it was a 9.0, or I thought it was a 9.0. I don't know what you thought it was.
It
That's what
says,
I gave it.
yeah, I thought it was an 8.5.
Okay, I thought it was a 9.0.
I felt it was an 8.5, and it came back what?
It came back 8.5.
Yeah.
Scruff right bottom of back cover and foxing. They really knocked down foxing a lot more than I would expect them to.
And what I wanted to do after this many years of not submitting is I wanted to get like we've gotten so much better at grading and also looking at books. When you look at thousands and thousands of books every month, you just get an eye for it. And I wanted to know about foxing, but
Dust Shadows back for that a lot.
Dust Shadow, huge. And I downgrade hard for those things, and now Rachel's like she's converted.
It's annoying though. So we have some honorable mentions. These are books that we didn't show in our last video that we just wanted to let you know that we got slabbed and we think they're cool. The first up is Underdog #1.
This got hit because of the foxing on it.
It had really bad foxing.
But the book structurally looks great, but it had a lot of foxing. And like I said, I don't do the wet business. I don't like try to take it. I think that's restoration personally.
I don't know what you thought it was going to be.
I thought I didn't know because of the amount of foxing.
Yeah.
That was a test. It still looks really good. That's why I sent it in because I was curious to see what they'd give it, and they gave it a
7.0.
Yeah.
Which is really high grade for that. The next one is Swamp Thing #4. We had tried to sell this raw.
Yep, as a
9.6.
9.6. We said it was a near mint plus, and we couldn't get there on 9.8, but near mint plus is pretty cool. So we decided to send it in because sometimes they are more relaxed than we are. And what did they say?
They said 9.6.
Hey, we did a good job on
Which
that.
I was happy about. Those are good. The next one's Scooby-Doo #1. This was from 1995. It's a newsstand, which is like, I couldn't find any data on
There are
about
no
the
newsstands, and that's why I looked it up and knew it was a $400 book in 9.8. So
you were excited about it. 'cause
well,
you thought
I
it was
wasn't
9.8.
excited because I thought it was a 9.8 before I did the deep dive. When I did the deep dive, it was like a 9.2, 9.4. I pressed it, sent it in.
It got a 9.8.
Yeah.
And it has that beautiful newsstand on the label.
It has Scrappy Doo on the cover.
It's really cool.
Really cool book. You've probably never seen it.
Yeah.
If you're not a Scooby-Doo collector, but if you are a Scooby-Doo collector, you probably know what this is.
And I think we did show it raw in another video, but I don't remember. We sent in 2 copies of $6 Million Man #1 that we both thought were 9.8. We had sold a bunch of these raw.
Couldn't see a thing wrong with them.
They were perfect. And they both got 9.8.
Bone white pages, just they were a warehouse find that we were able to walk into and pick up a couple.
Yep.
Yep.
And finally,
I just sold one, and one's at auction right now, so we
Yes.
don't currently have a slapped one.
Yes. Last one is 4-color 878, first appearance of the Peanuts. It's right behind us. Have you spotted it?
Sorry.
You got this raw. You were thinking it was a 5.5 and it got 5.5. It's
Should I
okay.
go like that?
They can already see
Yeah,
that.
I graded this 5.5. It has a couple of stains on the back. If it wasn't for the stains, it would probably be a 6.5. And the stains, one thing about stains, all stains are not equal. Like
And
if
I
I
don't
show
even
it
think
to
you
you
can
like
see
that,
it.
you can't see them.
But that's cute.
It has to do with like looking at it like this, letting the light hit it, and then seeing the disruption where the stain is. But it's actually a book I love the cover of, and I've grown up with Peanuts. So it's a cool book, expensive. There's another version of this that is gold key. This is the Dell. So the gold key or this one's a little pricier. Last but not least, I got these 70s replica.
This is the only thing he got at Heroes Con.
I didn't buy a single comic book, but I did get these replica robots from Japan. And these were made in Japan as well.
They're really cool. They're tin.
They have the little key in here that you can wind them up with. And they walk, and I showed my grandsons, and they both looked at me and said, "It's so slow."
They don't get it.
Anyway, that's all we got.
Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram. We're almost at 10,000 followers over there. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, follow us all of our places.
Follow us.
Everywhere we are, just follow us. We're not going to bother you.
I think
You're
like
stalking
over
us. We're not
50%
stalking you.
Over 50% of watchers don't follow us. So just click that quick. So we don't post a lot of videos. We won't be annoying.
Yeah, we'd like to crack 10,000, I don't know, within 10 years.
I know. We're at like, what, 65? We're not close over here, but we are on Instagram. So follow us over there too.
We're a tiny little channel. The tiny channel that could.
channel.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.